Greetings, folks. Welcome to the CODEC Show, episode 4 for the fall of 2018. Studio audience, give yourselves a hand, first of all. We have a packed house today from the studio audience. Those of you who are welcome, I want to welcome you, those of you watching on YouTube World, welcome to the College of DuPage. My name is Peter James. I'm an entrepreneurship professor here on campus, and you are now watching the College of DuPage Entrepreneurship Club show. Coming to you from beautiful the College of DuPage in Glen Ellen, Illinois. Here we are spread out in, I think last week I got it wrong, 270-something acres of land in beautiful Glen Ellen. Big campus. We got the MAC, we got the Police Academy over there, we have the Health Science Center, and we're coming to you from the Student Support Center as well. Our format here is we're bringing entrepreneurship to the students. We're bringing the entrepreneurship to you. And we're bringing the entrepreneurs to you also. And of course, as I mentioned, our goal is to expose students in the local community to entrepreneurs and small business owners. By them sharing their story, we'll show how entrepreneurship is definitely an option when your education is complete. So lots of stuff going on here on campus. We are at the end of October 2018, getting ready to go into November. In the second week in November, I believe it is, beginning on the 13th, we have National Entrepreneurship Week, actually Global Entrepreneurship Week. Lots of activities here all week long, to include a big pitch contest happening on Wednesday, the 14th of November. So hopefully you guys watching can come and attend, support our students, support our entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs that is. But in the meantime, we got a great guest for you today, and it's different. Usually I interview the guest, but we have our CODEC president, interviewing our distinguished guest. So without further ado, I'm going to let them have it. Thank you for watching.
Hi YouTube, my name is Omer. I'm the CODEC president, and let's get started. Today we have a very special guest. His name is John Andrade. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hello, YouTube, and excited to be here. Wonderful audience. I'm excited because last year I had a chance to be a part of the market and part of the extreme talent that was around with entrepreneurship, and we did it downstairs in COD, and Professor Peter was just gracious enough to invite me again. So I must have had a little bit of an impact, hopefully, into the student world. And I'm excited to be here, excited to be with you, and let's get this thing rolling.
All right, so let's get started. Tell us a little about yourself and how you got started.
Sure. So, just to give you a little bit of background, I've kind of been an entrepreneur all my life. I went initially to college and, had that experience, understood kind of where I was looking to go. At 19, I actually kind of came out of college and started a company called Cool Bear Enterprises. So what the heck does Cool Bear Enterprises mean, right? So it was basically a cell phone, pager. Back in those days, some of you guys are looking at me like, what the heck's a pager? So retail stores, and we had those stores with a partner of mine. And we got a chance to sell those. Then I went into insurance, investments. I kind of learned that atmosphere, that business side of things. And again, entrepreneurship hit me. I went into auto dealership, right? So I went from investments and insurance to auto dealership and owning a wholesale dealership called the AutoGenie.com. And that was kind of the interesting part where I learned a little bit more about entrepreneurship, understanding how to develop a website, how to get a market, how to wear all the hats that you have to do as an owner. And I really felt like that was probably my second stint, was where I learned a lot more about entrepreneurship. I'll forego the whole story. I sold that in 09. I got married 09. A lot of things changed in my life 09. And I got a job. I got a job in banking. I was fortunate enough to do a lot of business with a certain bank that was doing some loans for me. I got a chance to go into banking and grew that career pretty quickly and really kind of started to enjoy the corporate atmosphere. But I still always had that itch, that entrepreneurship itch. And sometimes, as you guys will find out, if you go in the corporate route, there's some, I guess, downsizing they call it, or lowering of staff and those types of situations. And that kind of pushed me back out into entrepreneurship. And I had some friends that I really was excited to reconnect with in the insurance and investment world. And I'm here now. So I started an insurance financial agency Our brand is called WealthWave. We're a financial literacy education platform, and we really kind of share with people how money works at the very core level of your personal life to a business life. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight of kind of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, it does. It does. It was amazing. Let's get to the next question. How do you generate money with your business? What exactly do you do, and how does it work? And how did you get started in that? How did you start to monetize everything?
Sure. So the neat thing about financial services, when you get into this field, I don't have to charge individuals for my time. There are some advisors that do charge. So I'm a financial advisor. I've got what's called a Series 6, a 63, 65. These are licenses that you need to legally, talk about certain parts of money. Then life insurance license, health insurance license. Some of your parents or grandparents may be in the Medicare situation where they're starting to retire. They need Medicare, Medicaid situation, those types of things. So you get these licenses and you start to become a professional, right? You got to get sponsored by a company. Mine is Transamerica Financial Advisors. And basically that side of things allows you then to start to market to people individually and to businesses, and share with them what the concepts are to be able to take advantage of taxes, understand the way to invest your money, look at ways to really protect yourself if you're building a family or if you own a mortgage, these types of things with life insurance as an example. And these companies that we have on our platform, you've probably heard of them. Nationwide is one of them, right? Nationwide is all right. So I just wanted to see if everybody knew, right? So they do great marketing. So they're on our platform, Prudential, John Hancock, Jackson National, all these types of companies. And to get to the question, I get paid for placing business with these companies, and the person or the company I'm working with don't pay me directly. So we're basically brokering the business to these companies for the best fit. So I feel very proud that I can broker that to the best fit, and I put into some software. I allow our systems to work for me from the data gathering I'm doing, and now I find out if Nationwide is the best company, if Voya, if these other companies are the best companies. So that's how I get paid. I get paid from the companies to broker the business to them.
Interesting. So you don't deal with the customer directly?
I do deal with the customer directly. So I gather the data from the customer, and then I go to the companies.
Oh, okay.
And once I place that business, be it someone may retire with a 401k, someone may have a need for life insurance, someone may have a need just to start off a small, $50 a month Roth IRA, those types of things. So those are things that I do, but then the companies pay me.
Okay, interesting. So who is your target market? Do you just look at the retired people, or do you go for every single age group?
I'm excited to help everyone, and that's the neat thing about our organization. Being here at COD and with the audience at hand, one of the most difficult things to learn about life as you get older is that sometimes we didn't learn about money. And sometimes our parents have the wrong ideas about money because they learned about money in their certain ways, right? So the neat thing about what our mission statement is no family left behind. And it's literally educating people on how financial literacy works. There is actually a stat out there, if you Google it, right, Uncle Google, the U.S. is actually ranked 14th in financial literacy around the world and 14th in happiness. I was just talking to a gentleman professor that is in from the Netherlands, a guest of Professor Peter, and we were looking at the stats, and literally Sweden, Finland, Netherlands, all ranked top because they have their financial mindset and their happiness, understanding it, which helps them in their life, right? So,
yeah, definitely. Next, this might be a little personal, but I would love to know how your friends or your mentors, your advisors kind of shaped you into getting to business. And you say you got a job, so why did you get a job? How did that work out?
Yeah, so when I sold my business originally, I was getting married. I was excited, to be in love and marriage and all that good stuff. And, sometimes, as you'll see, things change in your life. Sometimes when you have a child, you may get a little bit more conservative, or if you get married, all these types of things. So entrepreneurship certainly takes some guts, and all of you guys will see that. It's not easy, but it is something that if you take that journey, you got to be willing to work hard. Okay, that's number one. In this microwave society of ours, we forget that working hard is the number one thing that you have to do. Number two, you talked about mentorship. I've got 3 or 4 gentlemen and ladies. I've got a CEO lady that she runs a very big health insurance company. She built it from scratch. It's a $100 million company. I meet with her once a quarter. I ask her to meet. I go out and I spend the money to go take her out to dinner, take her out to lunch. I get into her assistant's schedule and I ask for that time. You've got to fight for people's time that are more successful than you. They're not looking at you to give you their time. They are willing to, but you've got to fight for it, right? It's kind of like your professors. I'm sure, Professor Peter will give you the time, but you have to fight for his time, right? So likewise, I've got 2 or 3 other very good friends that I've grown up with over the last 20 years. They've given me their time. I reach out to them. And that's the hardest thing, I think, for all of us, to have the pride to say, hey, I don't need the help. In fact, you do need the help, and people want to help you. You just have to ask sometimes. So.
Okay, definitely. That is definitely true. So let's get to the next questions. How did your personal habits and your daily routine really go into how you did your business and everything else?
Sure. So, habits are what you make of them, right? And all of us have them. I know that sometimes I can get up in the morning and almost instinctively go right to the bathroom, start to brush my teeth, and I'm still kind of sleeping because those are habits. Those are things that I've done throughout the years. I've tried to learn more and more now with YouTube and some of these things out there that are great social media presence, and a lot of the people, like one of our chairmen is named Ed Milet. He has a YouTube channel called Max Out. That's a shameless plug there. But it's a great YouTube channel. He's done a lot to really give back to society. He interviews a ton of people that you may know that are famous and athletes and all that stuff, but he talks about routines, right? So developing that routine, being prepared for the day, having a plan, writing down what we call affirmations, right? So affirmations are I am doing things already. Psychologically, and this is going maybe a little bit what most people would consider hocus pocus, but it's more about your mindset, your subconscious, leaving the habits inside of it so that every day you can generate production, generate results by writing down things, right? That's one thing that a lot of us don't do, right? We don't learn to write down our goals, write down the things we're going to do today. If you guys as students, you have 3 classes today, write it down, put in between what you want to do, and it's amazing what your subconscious starts to do to try to help you in a very intricate way to succeed for that day. So that's kind of my habits, is writing down my goals day and night, trying to understand where I want to go, and then having my dreams and my affirmations to that.
Yeah, that is definitely a really good way to discipline yourself, because I believe that discipline really helps a long way, because hard work and dedication, those are the things that will make you successful. But if you're not disciplined in doing the things you do, then I don't believe that you can actually achieve success, because you need discipline to really work hard towards the things you need to do.
Yep.
Yeah. This is the last question. After that, we'll have questions from the audience.
Yeah.
And the last question is, if you were young like me, or you were in college, what would you say to your younger self, or to us in general? What would you say to us to become successful in general?
It's a great question. I would tell you guys, take advantage of being young, number one, right? This is the time. I just actually talked to a gentleman. He's a client of mine. He's 26. He's a PGA golf pro. He's also at Top Golf as one of the top instructors at Top Golf, which some of you may have gone to that establishment. And he asked me, hey, recently, I want to write a book. I want to do private coaching. I want to be able to possibly go into the tour, that type of thing. And he has this struggle because he found someone that he really enjoys spending his time with as a mate, right? So a female companion. And he is struggling with this tug of war of, this is my girlfriend. I want to start to build a really great relationship with her. And she's struggling with, I have someone that really has some great goals and he wants to pursue some things, and so does she as well. But, it's that struggle, right? So as a young person, you've got to determine what your goal is and stay focused on that goal, right? when I had a chance to open up a business at 19, I kind of just, went all in. I dove in, right? And I got a chance to open up 3 retail stores. It was fun. I spent a lot of money. I lost a lot of money. I made a lot of money, all that type of stuff. But the whole thing of the mindset is, at a young age, you want to go all in as much as possible. Now, you're going to learn throughout that. That doesn't mean at 45, at 65 that you can't do it again, because you can. But it's just, if I were to look back and my old 19-year-old self, my old 20, 21, 22-year-old self, if I would have been able to challenge myself even more, I could do more. A lot of us think we're busy, and really you have no plan, right? Yeah. When you're truly busy, you're going to be fulfilled that night. You're going to go to bed like, man, I had a great night. I had a great day, I'm sorry, right? So when you're truly busy, don't forget, are you just thinking you're busy because you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're wasting time, you haven't written down your goals? Those are things that are successful habits that at a young age, when you go all in, you drive those types of habits, I think it would have made me even more successful at that point. So,
yeah, definitely. So the audience, any questions? Please speak up.
Yes.
If you went back in time and would you have done the same exact thing, like open your own business, go through all of this, or actually finish school? And do you think you would be where you are today if you went to school and actually finished with a degree, or?
So I have to be careful. I am in COD. No, and there's a lot of debates going on right now, right? Obviously, we all know that as students, it's over $1 trillion in debt right now and all that type of stuff in student loans. I think just my personal opinion, and I kind of correspond to some leaders I follow too. I think if you have a very specific reason for going to school and you want to learn something, and COD or any other university is where you want to go to learn that subject, learn that degree, it's totally advantageous. I mean, because you're never going to have this time back, but if you spend it well, you're going to be able to educate yourself, be around professors like Professor Peter, be around other people that will be colleagues. I mean, you guys are going to hopefully be a community. You'll be chaparrals forever, right? And you'll be able to, connect with each other and learn. Like, hey, you might run into one of these classmates, 20 years from now and be like, oh my God, you went to COD? And maybe at that point, you built that kinship of being a COD student. So there's a lot of benefits for going to college and to getting an education above and beyond the actual academic. It's about the people you network with. But if you're not networking, if all you do is come to class and leave and go back home, and you're not building relationships, I think that's one thing that a lot of young people miss out on, because later on in life, those people may turn out to be people that you need to do business with, and they'll remember that you took the time to just maybe spend 10 minutes with someone. You made someone feel good, right? So I know I'm going beyond the education side, but I think that education is what you make of it. And if you're very specific about what you want, being like a police officer, a doctor, a lawyer, those types of things, you need that education to really make it. And other times, business entrepreneurship, there is no theory that you could learn. You have to actually act inside of it to really learn it, and grow in it. So does that help?
Interesting. I have a question.
Yeah.
You talked about networking. I know a lot of people struggle with it because they don't know exactly how to approach people, what exactly they need to do. I mean, there are no rules for networking, we know that, but how would you approach someone to network or just have any relationship with them?
That's a great question too. I would tell you the number one mindset behind it is you're looking to help someone else first. If you are networking and you meet, let's say I go up to you and all I'm thinking is, man, I want to sell him something. I want to find out where he's at, what neighborhood he's at, how much money he makes. I want to find out so I can get something out of it. That's completely the wrong idea of networking. You have to be selfless. And then what happens is, naturally, as all human beings, I don't care what area, what place you come from, when you give first, you get, right? Mm-hmm. So in networking, you have to learn to give, and it may take time, right? I think that's probably the hardest part for most of us being a young age, right, is our patience. But you find out that, let's say I network with you and I find out that you need a contact in certain industry and you've just been struggling to do that, right? But you expressed to me that you had that need. What if I went back home, researched it because I'm good at researching, find out, call someone, and then call you back up and say, hey, you know what? I found someone that maybe will interest you. I don't know if it's going to work out, but here's something. You've literally I've invested in you in that scenario. And now, you know, our law of reciprocity, right? If you know what that means is, you know, when you give, people as human beings, we want to give back, right? So that's networking at its very core. Give first and you'll always give back.
How do you hold yourself accountable for your future goals? I know right now you have work-life balance with the relationship, and I'm sure you have future goals that you want to accomplish. How do you hold yourself accountable?
Well, I mean, we talked about mentorship before, right? You have to declare, one of the things I believe in is declare to your mentor, declare to someone that will, especially above kind of where you're at, right? It's easy to hang out with people that we all kind of relate to, but if you go to that next level of someone that you're like almost scared to talk to, may not think that they would like to give you their time, but if you push yourself and you have those types of people in your life where you could declare your goals to them, that's one way, right? Number 2, write them down. Number 3, put a date on them, right? Because any goal without a date is just a dream, by the way, right? Oh, I hope one day, man, I'd love to drive a Ferrari, right? You have to actually put down 10/31/2019, I'm going to drive a Ferrari, right? I'm just giving an example, right? So because that becomes a date and you continuously look at it, right? And every day, maybe you put it on your steering wheel, maybe you put it on your bathroom mirror, maybe you put it somewhere where it's just in front of you, maybe you have it on your phone, it's in your notes. When you put dates and you declare your goals to someone else that can hold you accountable, that is at another level than you, that actually puts a lot of, you know, I guess, great pressure on you to be able to execute, so.
I have a question for you. So, you know, I know you have a huge financial background, and a lot of us in the audience here, finances, managing money may not be our thing. So what kind of pearls can you impart to young folks as they're looking at money? They see money, and money disappears in the hand just as quickly as it arrives.
Yeah.
Any words of wisdom?
Well, the first one I will say is learn something called the Rule of 72. That blew me away. I was 24 years old. Now, mind you, right, I was making pretty good money at 19, 20, 21. I had these stores, 3 stores. Just imagine the type of money I was making. I was making pretty good money, all right? But I was blowing a lot of money. And at 24 years old, one of my mentors to this day showed me what's called the Rule of 72. And all that basically is if you take the interest rate you're getting on your money, and you divide it by 72, the resulting number is the amount of years that your money is going to take to double. So you're 29 years old, I'll give an example, and you're getting 4% on your money, all right, which is pretty darn hard to get at any bank right now. In fact, I don't think there is a bank that actually gives 4%. But let's just say you got 4%. That's 18 years it takes your money to double. You're 29 years old, you're making 4% on your money. 18 years later, right? You're 46, and it's $20,000 now. That 10,000 becomes 20, right? At 46 plus 18, now it's 65, right? 64. Now it's $40,000. So it went 10, 20, 40. That's getting 4% return on your money. If you get 12%, which is 3 times more, you'd probably think, hey, 3 times 80,000 is 160 or 240,000, right? But if you get 4 times that interest rate and you get 12%, what that means is that your money doubles every 6 years. And do the math, right? Google it, whatever you want to do. Take a 29-year-old with $10,000 and double it every 6 years. Did you know that that 29-year-old ends up with $640,000? And the other person who's 29 years old, just because they got 4%, ended up with $80,000. So my point is this. Learn to save money, number one. One of the goals that one of the guys I listen to, and I'm not there yet, believe me, he encourages not just 10%, right, but 40%. That sounds like a lot, right? If you make $1,000 and you're like, man, I have to save $400 to be in this goal, right? It seems like a lot. But start little, right, because you're young, right? I think most of you probably are in your 19 to 23-year-olds, I would think. If you start with a small amount, 25, 50, all right, and every 3 to 4 months, 3 to 6 months, add a little bit, right? So if you go from $50 a month, you add to $75, because you won't even blink on that, all right? Then you go to 100. Literally within 3 to 4 years, you're saving $300, $400, $500 a month. And then guys like me can show you how to get 4 to 12%, right? And those are very realistic numbers. Unfortunately, there's $14 trillion, and this isn't anything against banks, but there's $14 trillion in banks that are earning less than 1%. So if you just got the little lesson of Rule of 72, how many years will it take your money to double if you're getting 1%? 72, right? So literally, you're 29 years old, and at 91, you went from 10,000 to 20,000. You spent your whole life. So again, get with the right advisor, have a great relationship with that person, talk to them, let them show you what it is to actually be in the market. But Rule of 72 blew me away, and that's been something that even at the beginning stages of talking to anybody, I literally talk to them about Rule of 72, right? And as they get older, then obviously there's other strategies, but that's one thing. Saving is certainly a big deal. I'm biblical, so I'm a big tithing guy. Like I believe in that principle. The problem with most of us is that you will go ahead and put yourself in debt and pay other institutions instead of yourself, right? You guys are the CEOs of yourself. So pay yourself first, right? Learn to do that right now, because this is the least amount of debt you'll ever have in your life, usually. Now, there's good debt and there's bad debt. That's another topic, right? But if you learn to pay yourself first, then you'll strategize your money that literally your paycheck comes in of wherever you're making money. Pay yourself first, put it into an account, work with someone to be able to put that money to an investment as an example, right? And then what's left over, you start your lifestyle on. Does that make sense? So, but most people do the complete opposite, and by 30 and 40 years old, they're 100, 200, 300,000 in debt, and you feel suffocated by life. And maybe you have parents that have talked about that in your family, right? We're struggling with debt, we're this and that, da da da. And I'm not saying that there's not debt out there. Sometimes there's great debt to be leveraging, but those are little things that you could do to learn. Pay yourself first, Rule of 72, save money. So.
What made you choose the business that you're in? How did your concept of the business you're in come about?
Sure.
How did it start?
I had great friends in it, very successful in it, and like the young guy said, I actually had some mentors in that friendship capacity that led me towards this is where I want to be, and I bought into that culture. So no family left behind is our slogan, and that's kind of what I bought into. So I know we got to wrap up soon. So.
Yep. So let's wrap this up. Thank you for watching the video, and let's give a round of applause to our guests. And if you like the video, like and subscribe. Yes. See you next time.